everywhere. GBS.
Prompter Jawashwa.
A good afternoon. This is the Ambassador on GBS TV, where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. It's 1 p.m. here in Nairobi, and I'm Ibrahim Said. We begin with stories shaping global power, trade, and influence. To our first story, business leaders, policymakers, and investors from across Africa have converged in Nairobi for the 18th COMESA Business Forum, a key event aimed at strengthening regional trade and investment. The two-day forum is being held at the Kenyatta International Convention Center under the theme Advancing Regional Integration Through Sustainable Industrialization and Green Investment. Davis Karani now reports.
The Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa COMESA Business Forum brings together over 600 delegates from 21 member states, including heads of state, ministers, private sector players, and development partners, all focused on deepening economic cooperation across the continent.
Discuss and adopt solutions that will propel and transform the COMESA region into a competitive economy. Today's forum, Excellencies, was preceded by the COMESA EU Horticulture Connect platform, which facilitated business-to-business meetings, farm visits, and dialogues to strengthen market linkages and foster inclusive economic growth.
This year's edition, hosted by Kenya's Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry in partnership with the COMESA Secretariat and the Kenya Private Sectors Alliance, seeks to explore new avenues for intra-Africa trade, digital transformation, and climate-resilient industrial growth.
I extend my sincere appreciation to the COMESA Secretariat and the COMESA Business Council, in close collaboration with Kenya's Ministry of Investments in Trade and Industry, for convening this platform, which reinforces the importance of regional collaboration, trade integration, and private sector engagement.
COMESA Secretary General Chileshe Kapwepwe lauded Kenya for its continued leadership in promoting regional cooperation, urging member states to enhance value addition and reduce dependence on raw exports.
The COMESA Multi-Sector Trade Exhibition from 7 to 9 October showcases flagship regional products and services and innovations across multiple sectors, serving as a dynamic marketplace for promoting business linkages and investment partnerships. Complementing this, the COMESA EU Horticulture Connect seminar, which was held on yesterday, brought together European buyers from Netherlands, Germany, France, and Italy with COMESA horticultural producers, creating direct pathways for our agriculture exporters to access international markets. This strategic pairing of the exhibition and buyer-supplier platform demonstrates how we are translating our policy actions into tangible economic opportunities that strengthen our integration with global value chains.
Today, we have a balance sheet of $10 billion US dollars. Of that $10 billion US dollars, $2 billion is our own equity from different African shareholders and friends of Africa. The other $8 billion on our balance sheet of $10 billion is leveraged capital from friends of TDB, friends of COMESA, friends of Africa, both within Africa, the Gulf region, Asia, Europe, the world at large. So when we talk about partnerships in COMESA, I wanted you to know that we live it, we practice it, we are bringing the fruits of partnership to the region, and we have brought to bear facilities that have really made an important difference in the landscape of our region.
As delegates deliberate on the way forward, the 18th COMESA Business Forum marks yet another milestone in the fostering unity and prosperity within the Africa's largest trading bloc.
We will not be competing, we'll be synergizing to meet the demand that is beyond Africa, to the north, to the west, and to the east. So we should be synergizing to grow, starting from within Africa. Please allow me to extend our deepest gratitude to His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President of Kenya, and Honorable Lee Kinyajui, the government of Kenya, for hosting this landmark forum.
So I think as a person in charge of trade, I really want to emphasize on the issue of movement of people and goods, because when these two are not there, it doesn't matter what else we are going to input. And I think much must be done to open those areas. I also note that the theme of this year is leveraging on digitization to deepen regional value chains for sustainable and inclusive growth. Again here, we are happy as Kenya that we have made significant inroads in the area of digital penetration.
Davis Karani for GBS News, Nairobi.
Kenya's Chief of Defense Forces received the visiting Gambian Chief of Defense Staff at the Defense Headquarters, where he inspected a guard of honor mounted by the Kenya Defense Forces. Discussions between the two military leaders centered on enhancing defense cooperation, training and exchange, and joint effort in regional peace and security. The Gambian CDS lauded Kenya's continued contribution to regional stability and peacekeeping missions, noting that the visit marks a new chapter in defense relations between Banjul and Nairobi. On his part, Kenya's Chief of Defense Force reaffirmed the country's commitment to working closely with the Gambian and other African nations in strengthening continental security frameworks. The visit underscores the growing partnership between African military in promoting peace, capacity building, and mutual understanding across the And now, shifting to a devastating story, more than 30 people have died and thousands stranded after deadly flood swept through Sudan's Nile state. Rising waters from the Blue and White Nile rivers have destroyed homes, farmland, and infrastructure, deepening the country's humanitarian crisis. Let's take a look. More than 30 people have died and thousands remain stranded after devastating flood swept through Sudan's Nile state. Residents say the flood struck in the middle of the night, catching families off guard and leaving them with no way to escape. Rescue efforts are being slowed by heavy rain and a lack of equipment, with many areas still inaccessible.
We were surprised by the flood waters. We were asleep and at around 1:30 a.m. the floods arrived. We woke up. We couldn't find a way to combat this massive amount of water. The amount is massive and you couldn't battle it late at night, but we are currently working to drain it. Our situation is truly terrible, really terrible. Everyone here is suffering right now, honestly.
Authorities have warned of potential flooding weeks earlier, identifying 6 states including Khartoum, Gezira and River Nile as high-risk zones. But locals says poor planning worsened the impact.
Heavy rains fell, but planning errors by the Abu Hamad locality in River Nile state are the cause of this disaster. They planned animal pens and shops in the flood waters, and these people ended up in the flood waters, and what we see happened.
With more rains expected, Sudanese officials are urging residents in vulnerable areas to take precautions. Meanwhile, Egypt is blaming Ethiopia's Blue Nile Dam for raising water levels downstream, while Addis Ababa denies releasing excess water. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Ibrahim.
The ambassador will take a short break. We will be right back with more as we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Stay tuned.
The best thing is that you can make something for yourself. May I just say that? Like, you can just let your mind be creative. You're not limiting it, and you create something, and every time I make something, I just look at it and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
No, I just be like that. Yes.
And what do you think is required for someone to make it in the fashion industry? So umekuja na mapochopocho. You've come with like really amazing things. Utatuanzia na answer from the front ukikuja to the back.
Okay. That is something, when you look at it like this, you'll have to sit down and figure it out. Like, how did this person make this wallet? You see, this is art. You can also create yarn from like t-shirts. Yes. So that's what I'm trying to change. I want to create sustainable fashion where you don't have to go and buy yarn to crochet. You can just create yarn at your space, or you can go and thrift clothes, clothes made of yarn.
Yeah.
Hello kids! Today we are going to learn the story about Jesus feeding 5,000 people. Do you know of any other miracle that Jesus Christ did? Do you know which work Jesus Christ used to do? My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. 5 tiny barley loaves, 2 small fish in a little boy's lunchbox. Although it wasn't much, he gave it to Jesus.
Jina ni Coach Martin Musili. I'm a coach, as I've stated. E-sport nilitambua since 2015-2016.
Kuna sports mingi man, but nilikutiga kwa fencing. Kwa e-sport kuna kitele, kuna pesa kweli.
In as much as tunaiplay, tunaitumia pia kama life skills. Si shule peke yake, pia corporates. Na tunakuja tunafunza strategic thinking. It can create an avenue for a scholarship. If maybe anacheza shule, a scholarship. Maybe anaweza advertise ile corporate.
Nini imekukip kwa game, like ni strategy gani unatumia, like unafeel strategy ndio imenyekanga hapa, unafeel kupeleka mbali. Alafu utaniambia ni strategy gani imekumake unatumia as a player, ona ile strategy yangu inafanyanga na win game. Hata as a coach, ni strategy gani unaonanga hii nikitumia nasaidia player wangu kudefeat opponent wake. Requirements zangu ni nini? Nini nataka kwa fencer? What are the requirements?
All you have to be, as long as you can walk, you can move your arms, and you can think on your feet, you can fence.
Ili kujua mengi, jiunge nami Omala Brian kwenye GBS TV Sports Sugu Show. This is where passion meets the game.
SK the DJ hapa aka the Mix Wizard.
Nataka kurap, nataka kuimba, nataka kudance.
Give me a chance, mini dreamer.
You're a COVID baby. COVID will give birth to you.
Yeah. Yo lockdown kukaa ndani na my thoughts kulock in. Kanibadilisha.
Setback gani umeface like in the industry kutoka 2020, 5 years ago mpaka sahi?
The first one ilikuwa kujifunza kurap. Wase wa appreciate bars, wa appreciate lines. Like hii ni kitu tunatakingi time kuandika.
Sometimes na wonder ka God exists, your life manzeni moto.
Yeah.
Mbono na acha your daughters and sons wa dedi kwa moto. I like to think through things before nifanye. Gani na make sense to me, see according to the rules. Okay. This song, it was like a personal prayer. And because through the things I faced at that time, Mimi, I'm a versatile artist. First of all, I don't like to call myself a rapper.
Yeah.
Neither do I call myself a singer. I call myself an artist or a musician. Napenda ku try out new things just to bring up kale ka vibe yenye unaweza sikiza, unaweza bambika na bado unaweza pata kitu from the song. Unaweza ku live a different person after umesikiza.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to The Ambassador on GBS TV as we keep unfolding stories making headlines. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, a wave of a violent youth-led gang known as the Bebe Noir has plagued major cities for years, leaving residents living in fears. Now, a controversial government crackdown is making headlines, not just for its force, but for its method. While some see it as a step towards restoring order, others warn of serious human rights violation. Here is more on the unfolding situation.
Across DR Congo's major cities, fears grip communities as machete-wielding teen gangs known as Bebe Noir or Black Babies have terrorized streets, homes, and businesses. In response, the Presidential Protection Force launched a major crackdown in early October. For many, it's a welcome relief, but the operation has drawn sharp criticism.
It's a good initiative because Congolese people are always afraid to go out. I hope it lasts. We shopkeepers now have to close earlier than planned. Otherwise, they take our money or kill us with machetes.
Graphic videos showing alleged summary executions of suspects have gone viral, sparking outrage. Human rights groups say the government is abandoning due process.
Il n'est pas acceptable que nous puissions voir ce It is unacceptable that we can see online what is happening to Congolese citizens whose lives are taken in a click. Today we're witnessing summary executions while we have a legal framework in our country. If these offenders are identified, they must be handed over to the proper authorities so justice can be served. It's not very professional. Everyone has a phone. We have 2 networks in Congo. A criminal who receives a message can deliver another and hide himself.
Most gang members are between the ages of 13 and 30, driven by unemployment and poverty. As a youth reintegration center prepares to open in Buenza, DR Congo stands at crossroads between restoring order through justice or fueling fear through unchecked force. Elvis Muyodi, GBS News.
And finally, Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina has appointed Army General Rufin Fortunat as country's new Prime Minister. The move comes after weeks of youth-led protest over worsening power and water shortage. Former Prime Minister Christian Tsay was dismissed last week as Rajoelina dissolved his cabinet in a bid to calm unrest. Zafi Sambo, who previously served as director of the military cabinet, is tasked with restoring public trust and stabilizing essential services. But protests have intensified with the demonstration demanding Rajoelina's resignation. The Gen Z-led movement has drawn thousands to the streets of Antananarivo and other cities, accusing the government of corruption and mismanagement. The United Nations report at least 22 deaths and over 100 injuries since the protest began, figures disputed by the government. Rajoelina says political actors are exploiting the crisis, but insists he won't step down. Civil society remains divided and calls for dialogue continues as Madagascar faces one of its largest wave of dissent in years. And that's it for the afternoon's edition of The Ambassador, where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. We'll keep tracking stories that matter, and we'll be back with more clarity, context, and consequence. I'm Ibrahim Said, and until next time, have a good day.